What's going on? It's Fight Season MMA, and today I want to talk about Sean Strickland calling out Khamzat Chimaev right after he gets the title back. As we all know, Sean Strickland just beat Paulo Costa at UFC 302, and he is currently sitting out waiting for this title fight against Israel Adesanya or Dricus du Plessis to occur so we could get the next title shot. Thank you guys so much for watching these videos of Fight Season MMA. If you guys want to support the content, please go leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I'm on the road to 500 subscribers, so please go hit the subscribe button to help out the cause. But let's jump right into the video of Sean Strickland wanting to fight Khamzat Chimaev in the future after he captures the belt. Very recently, Sean Strickland came out and said he wants Khamzat Chimaev after he gets the title shot. And I think that this fight makes a lot of sense if Khamzat does get up and start fighting again, and Sean Strickland does capture the title. As we all know, Sean Strickland was just the UFC middleweight champion, and he lost his belt to Dricus du Plessis back in January at UFC 297, and Khamzat Chimaev last fought at UFC 294 in October in Abu Dhabi last year against Kamaru Usman. But for these two to really fight, Khamzat Chimaev has got to start fighting some middleweights, and we all know, I made a video about this a couple days ago, saying that Khamzat Chimaev wants the title shot next, and that just isn't the reality. It's going to go to either Sean Strickland or Robert Whittaker, most likely Sean Strickland, but we all know that Khamzat Chimaev is going to have to fight someone like a Marvin Vettori, a Paulo Costa, a Jared Cannonier, someone like that, but Sean Strickland is going to get this title shot, and he says when he wins the title, he will accept a fight against Khamzat Chimaev. And the reason that this is so interesting, and these guys used to train together at Extreme Couture in Las Vegas. That's Sean Strickland's home gym. We all know that Khamzat Chimaev just recently declared his nationality in the United Arab Emirates. So it is kind of very, very, very interesting for these two to be going back and forth, especially since Khamzat was back in the United States, and I understand that he can't fight anywhere else now, which is a very interesting feat. But these two apparently had some very intense sparring matches against one another, and they are both claiming that they were running each other out of the gym, which makes for a very interesting fight because this will be the talk of the town. This will stem up some beef between the two prior to the fight, and this will ultimately lead to a better fight coming in. We all know Khamzat Chimaev is one of the most aggressive UFC fighters the UFC has ever seen. The way he just goes forward without regard for life in every single fight. You look at the Kamaru Usman fight, where Kamaru Usman is one of the greatest wrestlers the UFC has ever seen, and he went out there and out-wrestled and 10-8 Kamaru Usman in the first round. We all know Sean Strickland has one of the most economically friendly styles in the UFC has ever seen. He fights in that boxing Philly shell style where he puts together volume rather than power. And that is a very effective style in the UFC. His fight with Israel Adesanya was super one-sided because Israel didn't know what to do with that very interesting style that Sean Strickland possesses. You really cannot mimic that style that Sean Strickland does because all the shots that he throws, he just moves out of the way barely. It's just the smallest movements to get the job done and ultimately beat you to possible punches before you can do it. Always in the UFC, straight punches beat looping punches every single time, and that was put on display in the Israel Adesanya fight against Sean Strickland. But how do I feel like a fight of this two would go? And this is ultimately I'm gonna favor Sean Strickland in this fight just because Khamzat Chimaev has so many questions against the top middleweights currently. We all know Khamzat Chimaev is an amazing fighter, and yes, he did beat Kamaru Usman, but that was a very scary fight for Khamzat Chimaev, considering that the only reason that he won was a 10-8 in the first round, and then possibly winning another round, which was very skeptical among MMA fans around the community, which I definitely could see, but it's got to be something that Khamzat Chimaev proves against someone who is more well-credentialed in the UFC middleweight division, like a Jared Cannonier or like a Marvin Vettori, like a Paulo Costa, who has been there for a while and done some great things. But if Khamzat Chimaev does that and he sets himself up for the possible title shot, I still think Sean Strickland goes in there and beats him. Sean Strickland's jiu-jitsu and wrestling is really good. He just never uses it. And Sean Strickland is going to be able to piece up Khamzat Chimaev on the feet, and I think it's going to be a very big puzzle for Khamzat to solve. But I do think this would be an incredibly fun fight to have. I do think that this is a fight that could happen down the line, and I do think that Sean Strickland versus Khamzat Chimaev having previous beef and history together would only make this fight even bigger. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Fight Season MMA, and please let me know what you think about possibly Sean Strickland winning the title and giving the shot to Khamzat Chimaev pretty soon after that. Like I said, we all know that these two fought together, or fought in the same gym, had some sparring matches together, and there's always the video of Sean Strickland saying that Khamzat was killing people in there, but that's for another day. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Fight Season MMA, and like I always say, please, we're on the road to 500 subscribers, so please go down and hit the subscribe button. That is the biggest way to support the channel. Also, while you're down there, hit the like button too, and hit the post notification so you guys are always notified when I release content. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will be back with more MMA news and content very soon.